Mrs. Edmund said that the lady drew back her hand and slapped her in the face before vanishing.
We got a violent ghoul here.
Wait, hold on. If you get slapped in the face by a ghost, do you feel it? I don't know. Welcome to the BBT podcast. I'm Becca.
And I'm Quilly.
We're friends that are just trying to be better together.
Join us to hear about what it's like to be in between Gen Z and millennial identities.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode.
Boo! Welcome to the second Halloween special that we prepared for you this month. For any new listeners out there,
yeah,
I'm Quilly.
And I'm Becca.
And we host a podcast called the BBT Pod, which stands for Be Better Together. So come in to listen and be better together with us.
Make sure to subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
First, did you watch the other episode? Because we have 5 really interesting stories there. Mm-hmm.
And we have more today.
Yes, we have more today. So today we're going to take a special turn. But before we do that, I just want to give a disclaimer. Okay.
Yes.
Warning. The following content may be distressing for some viewers and listeners. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yep. Contains the same thing as last time. Paranormal.
Yeah.
Violence. Not too much.
A little bit
for you? Okay. Not too much on my end, but some paranormal ghost stories, spooky stuff. So if you get spooked out easily, if it's nighttime and you want to be able to sleep, maybe, might not be the time to watch right now.
Yeah. But all that aside, if you're still here, it's going to be a great time because today we're going to cover Canadian scary stories, Canadian urban legends, Canadian ghost stories.
Yes.
All that cool jazz. Okay. For all your Canadian listeners out there, you're going to get taste of what spooky stuff is close to home.
Mm-hmm. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on a ghost tour or anything like that?
Yes. I've been on a haunted walk. I think that's like a patented name in Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you go?
I went to one in Quebec City when I went there for a school trip. Spooky
Are some
stuff.
of the stories from there?
No, because I don't remember what they were. But I remember it ending off in a church or something. And then the guy was he's dressed up like, I don't know what era, but it was like a lamp with like a candle inside, right? Right?
Victorian.
Yeah, maybe Victorian. And then we went into this church and then none of the lights were on. The only thing that was on was his lamp. And then at the end of his story, like the very end, he turned off the lamp and we were just left in the dark church and we had to find our way out. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. But it was fun. It's just like kind of spooky because I was only 13, I think. I was very young. Yeah,
I also went on mine when I was very young. Ours wasn't that theatrical though. It was just like a girl dressed up in like sort of a witch costume, kind of dark, like what we're wearing today.
Yeah.
And then she would just take us around. It was in Ottawa. She would take us around like the locks and stuff, which are like really old. Yeah. And then an infamous one is the Chateau Laurier, which if you guys know, it's the Fairmont suite of hotels. And then actually one interesting story I have about that is that apparently the CEO at the time or something, some big figure related to the Franc Chateau, he was on the Titanic and he perished on the Titanic. So apparently you can still hear him like singing or like stuff in the presidential suite or something of the hotel.
Oh, wow. Interesting. There's a lot of ghost stories in hotels. I don't know if you have any today. I don't have any.
I don't have any either.
Yeah,
but maybe next time. Yeah. So Becca, would you like to start us off with a spooky story?
Yeah, I will. So do you know who the Group of Seven is?
Oh, it's the painters, right?
Yeah, the painters.
Yo, one of my favorite painters is in the group of 7.
Who is it?
This is gonna be really awkward because I forgot his name. Something Harriet.
Okay.
He's the one that paints the smooth looking ones with the mountains and like snow capped mountains and stuff. That one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't
insert
remember.
Image.
Yeah, we'll insert an image there so you can see. Yeah, so they're a group of painters. There's 7 of them, and they were founded in 1920 as a organization of self-proclaimed modern artists and disbanded in 1933. So Thomas...
Almost 100 years ago.
Yeah, a very long time ago. They are pretty well known across Canada. I think a lot of Canadian... You learn about them in Canadian education system. So this one artist, John Thompson, he was a part of the group of 7, and he produced roughly 400 oil sketches on small wood panels, along with 50 larger works on canvas. So he mysteriously died or drowned in the Algonquin Park Lake in Ontario. Some say that the ghost of Tom Thompson can be seen in the Algonquin Park Lake. And yeah, you can hear it. You can see him on his gray canoe.
Wait, like the lake is called Algonquin Park Lake?
I think it says
in Algonquin Park?
Algonquin Park's Canoe Lake. Canoe Lake.
Canoe Lake.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So they say that you can see his ghost there. Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah. Very interesting. I didn't even know he died that way. I guess he was painting and then died on the job. Mm-hmm.
You know, Algonquin Park, low-key kind of sketch. Like, I know, like, we live in Ontario, right? So a lot of our friends really like to go there.
Mm-hmm. Have you been?
Yes.
Oh,
and
okay.
I didn't have a very good experience with it, which is why I never really like it. Like, I never really liked the idea of Algonquin Park. Plus, I know another ghost story, which I know is not on the list for today. Would you like to hear it? It's a very short.
Yes.
Okay, so it's more just like a creepy story. So allegedly, this is happened to my high school friend's sister.
Mm-hmm.
So she went. So you know, like there's like some very adventurous people out there, and they like to go on solo trips. So just like the painter, he went on a solo trip, right?
Yeah.
So she went on a solo trip to Algonquin Park, and then she was doing canoe camping, where like she would canoe to a spot and then set up camp there. So she chose like this little like island inside a larger lake, and she camped there overnight. And then when she woke up the next morning, she saw that there were photos of her on her own camera, like her sleeping. Yeah.
What?
So I mean, we could chalk it up to like non-paranormal, like there's like a creepster there, or paranormal, but it's a creepy thing that happened
creepy.
there.
That's still really creepy. Wow.
Exactly.
It was Tom Thompson.
Like, it was Tom Thompson. We know who it is now. He figured out how to use a camera.
Yeah, he's like,
yo,
you don't have to paint anymore.
Yeah, I don't have to paint. I can capture all these colors. Like, amazing.
Yeah, then he's like trying it out on the girl. He's like, oh my gosh.
It works. Like,
yeah.
Amazing. I'm gonna get one of these in
Where
the
can I
afterlife.
get one of these? Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, so that was my quick interjection, but pretty creepy. Eh?
Yeah.
She's mentioned that like she felt like she was being watched, you know. I'm like,
dang.
So, yeah. That is scary. Stay safe out there, guys.
Yeah, very scary. What do you have for us?
Yes.
Quilly?
All right. Let me start on the east coast of Canada. Okay, so we'll go the farthest east, and let's start with, since we mentioned a boat, we might as well keep talking about boats, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the one I have for us today is called the Phantom Ship of Northumberland Strait. So Northumberland Strait is basically that piece of water that's between Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia / like New Brunswick, and it's connected to the Atlantic Ocean. The story goes like a group of sailors in Charlottetown, which is the capital of Prince Edward Island, saw a ship on the horizon with white sails and crew members climbing up the masts as they tried to escape the growing flames on the ship. The sailors jumped into a rowboat and oared out as quickly as they could to rescue the ship's crew, but as they neared, the boat vanished. Dun, dun, dun. In the 1950s, a man and his wife were preparing for bed when the wife pointed out that the window, and she asked her husband whose house was the one with the light on. And there were no houses in the direction that she was pointing, only water. And when the two went out to investigate, they saw a fully rigged ship sailing down the Northumberland Strait at full tilt and completely engulfed in flames. And basically they watched until it disappeared from view. I mean, I guess there's nothing else they could do, you know. And then, so recently, the last alleged sighting was in January 2008, according to the source I was looking at, where a teenage boy saw a white and gold ship in Tatamaguche, which basically in Northumberland, like somewhere along the strait. Basically, each province around there has their own account of seeing this burning boat. And there's also a debate over whether they were actually crew members running around the deck or not, and what kind of mast there was, the kind of rigging, and the type of ship, which is all debatable. But at the end of the day, they all saw a kind of ship.
Wow. Mm-hmm. How did they know it was a ghost ship, though?
I think it's because, like, for example, in the first story, as they rode towards it, it just disappeared. And then... Right? And then I guess, like, if you hear more and more stories of the same thing appearing, then you're probably like, oh, that's not an actual, like, burning ship then. Mm-hmm. And then I also looked at, like, a little bit of the background, and it basically, there's actually very little discussion as to, like, where the boat comes from or, like, why it appears, right? And a legend also says that the ship is, like, blown in on a northeastern wind, and it's an omen that a storm is coming. But other than that, there's very little written about, like, what the story was and where it's originated from.
Interesting.
Yeah. What would you do if you saw a burning ship, like, on the harbor?
Take a photo of it.
Yeah, honestly, same. It's like evidence, you know?
Yeah.
Evidence for the police later.
Exactly.
I think what can you do? Like, fly there?
To react.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, what would I do if I even saw a ghost in general?
Oh, yeah, I know, right? I don't want to think about that. Scares me just to think about, like, seeing a ghost, bro.
Right? Do you think you'd ever
or anything like otherworldly? Okay, recently I've been seeing, like, TikToks of, like, people going exploring, like, urban exploration, where they go to, like, old abandoned buildings, old abandoned hospitals.
Oh, those
or like hotels
creepy. Yeah.
Right? And I'm always scared to watch a video because I'm like, what if I see something in the corner? You know, they
always
show,
like a jump
really
scare
old things. Oh yeah, I know. Some of them, like, purposely make them jump scares, and you're just like, why you do this to me?
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever go to, like, a place specifically to look for paranormal activity. Not like the Ghoul Boys. But I'd be interested in hearing about, like, ghost stories of, like, popular locations.
Yeah.
Like what we're doing today.
Yeah. It's always interesting to hear the ghost stories, but being in the environment, I don't think I would do well in those types of environments. Yeah. I get startled very easily. Like last week, we were reading ghost stories, and in the middle of reading the ghost story, I saw a notification on my phone, and I got really startled. But I don't think you could see, but I was really startled.
Yeah, the both of us were like, oh my god, doing research for these 2 episodes, we have to, like, do it in the morning, during the day.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we're in the East Coast, let's take it back to where we are currently. Take it back to Toronto.
Oh.
Are you familiar with the Mackenzie House?
Like, is it, like, referring to William Mackenzie King?
Yeah.
One of the prime ministers?
William Lyon Mackenzie.
Lyon Mackenzie.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the last home of William Lyon Mackenzie, the city's first mayor. And right now it's a museum operated by the City of Toronto Museum and Heritage Services. So you can go there and visit. It's like one of those historical buildings that they keep around just because they belong to someone notable or want to preserve something in there. So apparently,
a white man.
Exactly. He was the first mayor of Toronto, and in 1837, he led a rebellion to overthrow the British rule. So he moved into the home in 1859, and he died in there in 1861. And his wife died there 12 years later. And some believe that his spirit returns to his former home. So there's this one story from someone called Mrs. Edmund, who is a caretaker who used to work and live at the Mackenzie House. She claims that one night she was awoken by a soft touch on the shoulder, and when she opened her eyes, she said that there was a lady there bending over her, looking into her face. But a few seconds later, the lady vanished. And then a few weeks later, she claims it happens again. But this time, Mrs. Edmund said that the lady drew back her hand and slapped her in the face before vanishing.
We got a violent ghoul here.
Wait, hold on. If you get slapped in the face by a ghost, do you feel it? I don't know.
Yo, it's probably cold AF.
It's probably you just like feel something going through your face and you're like, whoa. Whoa.
I heard like, you know, how like ghost hunters and stuff, they say that there's like cold chills and stuff like that. It's probably really cold.
Yeah.
Like ice. Oh my goodness, that's violent. That's so
you know
scary.
The worst part is you can't slap them back.
Yo, I would imagine that feel like you dunk it into like a cold bucket of water.
Yeah.
Okay, bro, like when you first talked about like her waking up, someone looking at her, I was already creeped out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, girl,
what are you looking at?
That's nightmare juice.
Yeah,
what are you looking at, girl? Like, is there something on my nose? And now you're gonna slap me? Like, come on. Really? You don't like how I'm cleaning your silverware? Really is that the thing?
Yeah, maybe because she's a caretaker and she's not doing a good job or something. She's like...
Yeah, probably. Or maybe she's like... Maybe the lady was like super OCD about something and then the caretaker's just doing it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. She's just like not respecting her space. Yeah.
Did it happen again?
Yeah, someone named Bruce Beaton, who is a historical interpreter at the Mackenzie House, said that while he never encountered a paranormal activity himself, he hears footsteps on creaking stairs or spontaneous playing of the piano in the parlor. Yeah.
And he said he never encountered paranormal activity himself. Isn't this it?
I mean, I guess nothing like the other woman.
Okay, but like, dude, if you were to hear a spontaneous piano start playing in a room where there's nobody, would you run?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd definitely run.
I'd be like, are those keys moving? Are those keys going up now? All right, I'm going out of here.
Yeah. Apparently, they actually did an exorcism in 1960 on the house, which was actually recorded and aired on television. And
damn.
Yeah. So some people like to go there and visit for the ghosts. I don't know if it worked. They didn't say.
Oh, wait, yo.
Yeah.
Is Mackenzie House downtown Toronto?
Yeah.
And it's like
Dundas.
Dude, I went there before.
Really?
Yeah, I just remembered. I went on a ghost tour with my friend in Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and we went to like a theater, and then we went to the...
You've been there. Oh my god, you know.
I have been, because it's downtown.
Girl.
I was in the same place of Slappy Ghost.
You could have got slapped by a ghost.
I know. Oh,
Spooky.
We'll go together sometime, and then we'll film a vlog for you guys.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Well, like 5 seconds ago, I just said I wouldn't go ghost hunting, but I see the appeal.
Yeah, for sure. Pretty funny.
It's so close to home, just like motorcycle. That cut my vibe, dude. I was gonna be like, it's so close to home, just like my next story. The next place that I'm gonna talk about, I think you've probably been there too. Like maybe not inside, but outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the next place is actually pretty popular. It's like right downtown, on Yonge and Front Street, I believe. It is the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Ooh.
In downtown Toronto. Ba ba ba. Ba 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 ba. All right. So, in the early 1990s, a few years before the Hockey Hall of Fame moved into the historic building that had been a Bank of Montreal, BMO, branch for close to 100 years. BMO! Toronto musician Joanna Jordan saw a female ghost looking down at her from a second-floor ceiling. Jordan was unaware at the time that a ghost perpetually haunted the space. She says, "I remember it so vividly because it's one of those things that you'll never forget." Jordan refused to go up to the second floor by herself when she played at the hall, which opened in 1993, because it's just too spooky out there. Okay, so basically, it's assumed that Jordan has seen the spirit of a young teller, like bank teller, known as Dorothy, who killed herself in the bank sometime between the early 1900s and 1960s, like a 60-year gap. I'm not unsure. So according to various sources, right? So I got this article from the Toronto Star, which is a newspaper. Basically, they learned that the lady was Dorothy May Elliott, 19 years old at the time. Basically, she shot herself early in the morning of Wednesday, March 11th, 1953, and died 22 hours later at St. Michael's Hospital.
Ooh.
I'm surprised that they could find the record.
Yeah.
Right?
Damn.
So basically right, they have the exact day.
Damn.
So her death didn't get much attention from newspapers. But one version of the story accused her of having stealing money, and she probably felt regret. And another one said she'd been discovered helping members of the Irish Republican Army who were planning to rob the bank for their cause back home. I don't know, it's getting political now, and a psychic tried to contact her several years ago, and she said she was murdered because she had uncovered a scheme involving the bank manager, the chief of police, and a leading judge who were embezzling money belonging to farmers.
Interesting.
But yes, there is, however, one more very common theory, which is that apparently she was having an affair with either another teller or the branch manager, who was a married man who had an apartment in the bank. So maybe she was
I see.
Right, getting it on with someone who had a family, and that's a no-no.
Still
A no-no. Yeah, so I think the most recent sighting was one summer. A young boy was visiting the Hall of Fame when he started screaming, "Don't you see her? Don't you see her?" Says someone who was working as the hall's coordinator. Yeah, so he was screaming at the coordinator of the resource center, and basically he claimed that a woman with long black hair was going in and out of the walls. I walk past this place sometimes, and now I'm just
yeah, I had no idea that it was haunted.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
I got the chills.
Walking through walls, bro.
Yeah, that's 100% ghost, okay?
Or it's Hogwarts.
Yeah, it's still good, but at least the Hogwarts ones are friendly.
Yeah. No, I mean they're going to Hogwarts. They're going to the train station.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah. Platform 9 3/4.
Platform 9 3/4. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is what's the intersection of that again? It's Front Street, right?
Yonge and Front.
Yonge and Front. So now we're headed to Jarvis Street.
Oh, right down.
We're
right east of Yonge.
Now we're headed to Jarvis Street to go to the Keg Mansion. So there is a keg on Jarvis Street that is it's built in the, what is it called?
Do you know the intersection? Today's is so
Wellesley and
I knew it.
Jarvis.
I was gonna say Wellesley.
No way.
Do you know why? Okay, dude.
Why?
I was walking there a couple days ago, and then there's a really creepy looking house.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it's
honestly,
massive and it's creepy looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jarvis and Wellesley, right? I was
there, to be honest. Yeah, so we're at Jarvis and Wellesley. There's a Keg Mansion, and this Keg Mansion used to belong to Massey Ferguson, so the Massey family. And the Massey family is a Methodist Canadian family that has been prominent since the mid-19th century, known for manufacturing farm equipment and for being patrons of the arts in Canada. So you might have heard of the Massey Hall and things like that. Yeah. So they were pretty...
Oh, that's them. Okay.
Yeah, they're a pretty popular family in Toronto. Legend has it, in 1915, after the death of Massey's beloved only daughter, Lillian, one of the maids were so stricken by the grief that she hung herself.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Another version of the story involves the maid killing herself for fears her rumored affair with a Massey man would be revealed. So people claim that they see images of a ghost maid hanging by the neck. Yeah, so this Narcity article has a couple of stories of people's sightings of ghosts or like hauntings, I guess. So this is what one person said. Melanie Ellerby was dining with her husband when she says she encountered 2 different spirits. As she was dining, she says she felt a cold wisp on her arm that gave her goosebumps. She felt the light touches move onto her fingers and eventually on the back of her neck. Then a flash across my mind of a woman. She was young, blonde hair with a wide face and blue eyes. She wore her hair swept up and wore a light-colored blouse with a high neck, a long colored skirt. In the flash, she was standing behind me. She wrote in a testimonial. She continued to feel the woman's presence throughout the dinner. Yup. And then another person, Laura D., claims to have seen ghosts of children at the restaurant. And children are not allowed in the restaurant at nighttime. So she thought it was odd when she saw a boy with dark hair sitting on one of the staircases. She walked past him toward the bar, and when she looked back, he had vanished. Okay.
Children too.
I know, right?
Why are there children?
I know. I thought it was just a maid. I don't know. I don't know where the child came from. Maybe staying with the maid. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe she's like a benevolent ghost, and then she like adopts like children who are abandoned.
Yeah. And then same woman, Laura D., she said that during another visit, she and her friend were on the second floor of the bar when they both heard the creepy sound of children's feet pitter-pattering down the stairs. And when they looked to see who it was, there was no one there.
Oh my god.
Yikes. And then Mia T. was in the woman's washroom alone at the Keg Mansion, but insists she felt another presence with her the whole time. She came out and looked to the stairs. A woman dressed in a dark, beautiful, old-fashioned dress looked at her, and she said hi to her when walking past and down the stairs, but she felt weird about it, so she asked the host. He said it was only 4 male servers that night, no waitresses, and definitely no one in an old-fashioned dress. Yikes. So we like
okay, that stuff scares me.
Spooky stuff. I mean, definitely check out the Keg Mansion and take a
Jarvis
nice
and Wellesley,
there.
guys.
Take a nice dinner there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, very creepy.
Ooh. Next time I walk by, I'll film a short vlog.
Yeah. We're gonna eat there.
Oh my.
Yeah, the cold.
Yeah, and go to the washroom ourselves.
The cold thing when you feel them is definitely definitely a sign, I guess, that there's a ghost there.
Yeah, people always talk about feeling coldness and shivers. Like, I'm getting shivers now because I'm creeped out by the story, but if it's like not caused by me and by like a cold drift, I think you can tell the difference, because people will be like, oh, but you get shivers all the time, you know.
Yeah. Spooky.
Naysayers will say it's the AC.
Yeah, or a draft. It's just a draft.
Speaking of ghost ladies,
ooh,
I have one, but we will be flying out from Toronto.
Okay.
Billy Bishop or Pearson, probably Billy Bishop Airport. That's probably better. More fun. and we're flying to Nova Scotia.
We're going back to the East Coast. Wow, a lot of spooky
going back to
stuff
the East
there.
Coast. So I found a lot of stories in the East Coast because I've been there, and then it like adds an extra layer of intrigue for me. So I find it very interesting, which is why I have brought East Coast stories to the table.
Yes, yes.
And for those of you watching, like you probably noticed that the lighting has been changing throughout this whole episode. It's because it's sunset right now for both of us. So yeah. Very fitting for the mood, actually.
Yes.
All right. So, Becca, I know that recently or a couple years ago or something, you've been to the East Coast, right? All right. Yeah. So you've been to Peggy's Cove?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Is it the lighthouse? Is the lighthouse haunted? No. Okay.
Nope. It's not the lighthouse.
Okay.
But it's close to the lighthouse.
Oh.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Peggy's Cove is a very famous tourist attraction in Nova Scotia. It's along the Atlantic Ocean, and it's a bunch of like rocks. It's a very rocky shore with a lighthouse. Very iconic red and white lighthouse. All right. So, just like I said, Peggy's Cove is home to one of the province's most iconic lighthouses, Nova Scotia. It's also home to the ghost of a woman named Margaret. So, Margaret spent her days and evenings walking the rocks of the cove. So, this is because she was grieving the loss of her 2 children. Apparently, she had 2 children that passed away. Or, in another version, she was unable to afford bringing her children to immigrate from Europe. So, either way, she's separated from her children, right? And then she met a man here, and then he was so sad to see her unhappy. You know, obviously you would want your loved one to be happy. So one day, in an attempt to cheer her up, her husband made his way to the rocks where she was to perform a dance and sing, and tragically he slipped and fell to his death on the rocks. Like, for those of you who have been there, the rocks are pretty like slippery and they're dangerous, especially if it's like wet and has seaweed on it, right? So basically the locals found him later, but there was no sign of Margaret. Some say that she felt like responsible for his death, so she took her own life by falling into the sea.
Oh, whoa.
So basically, to this day, a lot of visitors report seeing a distraught woman in a blue dress standing on the edge of the rocks and above the ocean, poised to jump into the sea. Like, it looks like she's about to commit suicide, right? So then some of them think that she is like an actual person, and they try to go over and convince her otherwise, right? But when they get too close, she jumps and disappears.
Whoa.
Yeah. So actually, a fun fact, Peggy's Cove was once known as Margaret's Cove because of its location at the entrance to St. Margaret's Bay. So when abbreviated, that's how it becomes Peggy's Cove.
Wait,
so
what? How?
Like, yeah, I don't know how Margaret becomes Peggy. Like, honestly, it's like, how does what is that, like Robert become Dick or something? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I think it's Richard.
Yeah.
Richard becomes Dick.
Oh, Richard. Yeah.
That's really weird. And like, Will
yeah, Robert's Bob.
Bill.
Sorry.
No idea.
Yeah. So yeah, that's so when I read that, I was like, oh, like they might have called her Margaret because because of the Cove's name, or if the Cove is named, I don't know. But apparently, the ghost of the lady in blue is Margaret.
Wow, I had no idea.
Very spooky, right?
Yeah,
now
very
you're
spooky.
like, damn.
I could have saw her. I have to look behind all of my pictures now and see if she's there.
Yo, that's scary. Oh my god, don't say that. I'm scared.
That's so scary. Yeah, like, you know those when people take pictures of stuff and then they look back at it after and then they see someone there? That is terrifying. Terrifying.
Okay, you also know like the trolls on internet who like post a picture and they're like, oh my god, I didn't see that, and then you look and then in the dark it's like some really creepy face.
Yeah.
I'm just like, please don't do that.
No,
don't do that to me.
No. Yeah. Wow, I had no idea that there was a ghost there.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a lot of ghosts surrounding lighthouses too. That's what I found.
Yeah. I think it has something to do with the fact that it's so isolated, and then people who like lighthouse keepers are often like lonely.
I think so.
I don't know. And then maybe even the fact that lighthouses are located beside the water, you could argue that there's a potential for like a mirage or something like that, or
I
like
think
distorted
so.
vision. Yeah.
Wow. Very scary.
Mm-hmm.
There's one Berenstain Bears episode where they were at a lighthouse, I think. And then there was a ghost there. I don't know if it was a ghost or they just stayed there. I think they had like a creepy experience at a lighthouse. And then I was scared of lighthouses from that episode.
Yeah, I'm scared of lighthouses too. Like, just from like the amount of ghost stories. Plus, like, yeah, I like to watch BuzzFeed Unsolved, right?
Yeah.
There's this one episode where they go to a lighthouse. It's scary.
Yeah.
Scary. Because
you're all by yourself in this building, kind of. Mm-hmm. And you're right by the ocean. And being by the ocean at nighttime is really scary. I don't know. There's something about
dark.
It. Yeah, it's so dark. And all you hear are the waves. And it's like, you actually can't see where the ocean is.
You can't. And you can't see where the horizon is either. Yeah. Unless it's like a very clear day, you can't see. And it's just pitch black.
It's so scary. Yeah, so...
Like, not even the ocean. Once I was walking along Lake Ontario, like on the beach.
Yeah.
At like late night. And I was like one step and I could end up in the lake. Like,
yeah, honestly,
I can't see.
It's terrifying. It's so scary. Halloween is right around the corner. Did you ever do anything really spooky on Halloween?
Okay, this wasn't Halloween, but in Edmonton, there's a haunted house experience.
Yeah.
Which is like one of those scare houses. And I was there with a couple of my classmates, and then we went in, and it was the scariest BS I've ever seen in my life, dude.
Really?
Okay, dude. So it was this one building, and they compartmentalized it into different sections, and you would just follow the path to walk through all the sections, and they had actors and everything.
Yeah.
Right. And the actors, the costumes were insane. It like oh my god, the makeup and everything. And then they would they're not allowed to touch you, but they can go close enough to like graze you. Oh. Right? So you would feel them like sneak up on the side and stuff like that. Okay. And then so from what I remember, there was a room with clowns, like just spooky clowns, and there was a room of dolls. And then it also had like a gory to it. So I don't know if you guys know the games like Outlast. Basically, it's like a PC or like console game where like it's just super duper gory and it's like demonic and stuff like that. So they had rooms just like that where there was like fake blood everywhere and like intestines coming out of a fake corpse.
Gosh.
Like, it was insane. And the lighting and the music, just the atmosphere was like perfect. Perfectly horrifying.
Wow.
Oh my god. I was so scared. I was holding on to my friend in front of me, and I only had like one eye open the whole time, and we were all just holding on to each other. And I remember the person behind me was like grasping my shoulder so hard too that they were like sore afterwards. We were so scared. I don't know why we chose to do this.
Wow, that sounds really scary actually.
Ooh. Yeah. How about you?
I don't think I've done I haven't done like an actual haunted house that you have to pay to go to. But my high school on Halloween used to do like their own small little haunted house things. And then I would go to those. But those were like whatever. They're not like super scary. It's just kind of like dark room. Pitch black room. Try to find your way out. Yeah. It was fun. But I sent you a TikTok of that.
Yeah. Oh.
Of that scary, I don't know if it's a haunted house really. It's called 17th Room that they have in LA or something. Yo, that's messed up. The things that they put them through, they literally make them sign a waiver. And then
actually I did sign a waiver too.
Yeah, but then the thing that they do there, it's like they're allowed to tase them. They're allowed to touch them. And then there's a part when they dunk them into water. And they have to like try and escape or something. And it's like it's like torture. It's like torture.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then they are actually allowed to cut their hair and things too. but like you don't have to get it cut. It's only if you sit in the chair or something, but they're allowed to do that too. And it's wild. Yeah.
Yo, dude, I didn't know how big, like, I think in America or US, the haunted house, like, industry is huge. Because, like, I was watching another podcast called Podcast But Outside.
Yeah.
And then they were talking to this one girl who, like, specifically works for different haunted houses. Like, she just works for these types of experiences. Yeah, it was really cool. And then she talked about, like, how sometimes, like, the employers don't treat them well. And they got to do, like, super scary things. And then she said one time this girl got so scared that she peed on her.
Oh, shoot.
Like, the guest peed on her. I was like, how scary did it have to be for that girl to, like, release her bodily fluids? Like, come on.
Yeah. People peed themselves going into that place, too. I saw a TikTok.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God. What the heck? But, wow. I don't think
you would never do that, right?
No. Yeah. Yo, if I go, people are willingly going to a place where it's like you might get tased, and they're like, "Yeah, that's totally fine."
Like
that's.
I like people with like a and people with like a bad heart would probably die.
Yeah, right. And you can see the tasers that they're holding too. People are like waiting in line, and you can see them holding the tasers, and it's like. What?
We live in a world where
this is fun. This is entertainment. Yeah.
Yeah. Entertainment is torturing yourself because we have no other method of releasing our emotions.
Yeah. Do you know I don't remember what it's called. It's like Makami Manor or something. The really bad haunted house.
No.
I think it stopped now. Like they don't have it anymore. But it's kind of the same premise, but it's way more extreme. Like, it's something like if you were able to get out, they give you money or something. But people usually don't make it all the way to the end because it's really bad. Like
that bad.
It's really bad. Like torture, like straight up torture. They'll like make them pee in a cup or something and make them drink it and stuff like that. And like, you know, put them in a cage or something like that. Like it's just really bad stuff happens in there and people come out straight up traumatized, so they kind of put an end to it, I think, obviously, because they got a lot of backlash in 2019. People were talking about it a lot on Twitter and stuff, but the fact that they even like the people who are doing it must also be traumatized, or they must be like messed up in the head, because how can you do that to people? I don't know.
Yeah, but the people who are like, this is a good idea, we should offer a torture experience for first world country people who just want to feel pain. And the fact that there's a market for it,
it's messed up.
Also, it enables these people to do it.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, the people who are in the costumes and a part of it, they have to do a lot, and it's hard. You know how hard it is to be scary.
Like scary all day too. That's a lot of energy.
Yeah, and they're wearing a lot of makeup and their costumes. I feel like their face probably has a lot of like really skin irritation or something.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like I get acne. I get mask acne now.
Yeah, exactly. So they must get really bad skin irritation, like rashes or something, because they have to put that on day in, day out. Yeah, and also like they're screaming sometimes, and that is exhausting for the vocal cords.
Maybe they have shifts, like
I think so.
Ghoul 1 played by Sally, and then she'd like switch out with like Bob, who was also playing Ghoul 1, you know?
Yeah. It's really weird when you see them though, and they're not doing the scary stuff, they're just kind of talking. It's really weird.
Yeah.
They're just like normal.
It is. It's like uncanny, because I expect them to try to kill me, but then they just talk about tomorrow's TV. Yeah. Well, anyways, we had fun sharing 6 Canadian haunted stories with you. Please let us know if you want to hear more, because I actually really enjoyed this. How about you?
I enjoyed it too. I think it's a lot of fun. So we might continue doing it even outside of Halloween. You never know.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
And I watch true crime almost every day, so I don't see why not.
Yeah, we could also do true crime stuff. I was debating on putting some unsolved mysteries, like cold cases and things. Because those are also really creepy. Yeah.
All right. Let us know in the comments, in our DMs.
Thank you so much, guys, for making it to the end. We hope you enjoyed listening to the 6 scary stories that we had today. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Spotify. Subscribe to us on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. And with that, we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Goodbye.
Good night, my dear. Thank you for listening to the BBT Pod.
Our music is by our friend at soundcloud.com/MIERUKO.
See y'all next time. Bye. Not COVID.